Hi, I'd like to welcome you to my new YouTube channel, Resident of Collinwood. And I'm here to do a review of the 2018 Halloween movie, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Will Patton, Andy Matichek. Um, this movie starts off with the documentary team, and they're at Smiths Grove, Warren County Sanitarium, and they're visiting Michael Myers. They're there to um, see him and find things out about him, really. And it starts off with them saying testing, testing, and then the gates open and you meet Dr. Sartain. Um, I like what Dr. Sartain says. And that's what I say. There's things that a lot of the newer characters say that you're either asked to believe or not believe. Take it at your discretion. And Dr. Sartain says he was a student of Dr. Loomis. He lobbied for this. I actually like that. It lets you know that there is. Now, I'll say something. This character is not Sam Loomis, and that's a good thing. I like characters who are their own. And he also says something that a lot of us fans have theorized over the years. He says to the documentary team that Michael can talk, he just chooses not to. Now, I want to stress Dr. Sartain has not actually heard Michael talk. He's just theorizing this. I actually like that. I like that they float that out there. I like that this character says this. It's, gets your attention. It's something that grabs you right away. Um, and we get out to the courtyard, and the British, the male, asks Michael, does he remember Laurie Strode? And he pulls out the mask, the very mask that Michael used 40 years ago. And how does he have that? He has a connection, which I find. There's a thing. There's no one in their right mind that's going to give you that. That to me was a little hokey, but okay, whatever. He has the same mask 40 years. He holds the mask up, and the dogs begin barking. The other inmates begin acting strange. And he starts screaming at Michael, say something, say something. I'm going to say something. I wanted to say shut the fuck up because I found that annoying. I get what they're doing. They're setting the mood. But it's like, first of all, Michael Myers doesn't owe anybody a goddamn thing. He's a killer. He's not going to talk. He hasn't talked all this time. What the hell makes you think he's going to say something to you? And I'm glad the credits rolled and the opening credits because I was like, please, somebody shut the fuck up and move on. Um, so I was sort of torn on the whole, say something thing. I don't hate it, but I didn't love it either. Um, then after the credits, we see the documentary team goes and sees Laurie Strode. And I sort of somewhat like this sequence because when Laurie sees them, we get some of what we got from the trailer. Do you believe in the boogeyman? And no, I believe in Michael Myers, but not literally the boogeyman. Um, Laurie sort of blows them off, and I like that. And she goes, "Can I have my money?" So there is some. Sorry, sick. There are some things there, but overall, I like it. It's short, it's simple, and I like I like how we're introduced to Andy Matichek's character Allison. I really love this character. She's not Laurie Strode. She's not Karen Strode. She's her own, and I like that. I love the fact that a lot of these characters are their own. They're not mimics of other characters, which was nice. And Laurie Strode in this is sort of like the way Michael Myers was in the first one. She's almost a shadowy figure, or ghostly figure, you might want to say. Whichever word you want to use, I'm fine with. Um, she lurks in the shadows, and that's sort of where Michael lives. If you have to hunt somebody in the shadows, you sort of have to live like them. And that's sort of how Laurie's been living her life, in the shadows, in the background. Um, again, sick. But so I like that. I like what Andy Matichek's character Allison says to her. And this to me is one of the most important lines of this character's throughout the whole movie. Yeah, she says a lot of things, but this to me was key. When she's asked, her grandmother, why can't you just let it go? Why can't you just say goodbye to Michael Myers? Just move on. And I love that because that's sort of how I felt coming into this. But I also love the fact that she's sort of, okay, Grandma, I get it. I get he killed your friends, he murdered them, but it was 40 years ago. And she doesn't say that, but that's in a sense what she is saying. And Laurie Strode just says goodbye and walks away. And later on, we get a lot of things, you know, before we see the bus crash. We see Dr. Sartain boards the bus. I'll be right by your side, Michael. Not that Michael says anything to this guy. Um, that's sort of what I like about this. I like the silence of Myers and the talkativeness of Sartain. It, it's not Loomis and Myers. It's Sartain and Myers, and Sartain is just a talkative doctor, and Myers is not gonna say one fucking word. It's I found that funny, at least I did. I thought that was humorous a little bit, um, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that, and you know, we don't see the bus actually crash, so we don't see how it's done, and I like that we see that Lori was waiting on the bus, but she didn't do anything. I thought she might have. I thought at first maybe she caused the crash, and then that's how Myers escaped, and then maybe she was guilt ridden over it, that she caused his escape. But no, that's not what happened at all. Um, she actually meets Allison and her daughter Karen and her husband for dinner, and she has a complete breakdown that she admits she wanted to kill him. And then that's where we get the Karen Strode backstory of Karen spent her life growing up training because her mother prepared her for bad things, including Michael Myers, shooting a gun, kung fu, self defense, all that stuff. And, one day child service came and took her. And so she explains all that to Allison. And which I like. I like how they did that right then and there. Um, so, for the first part of this, I mainly like it. You know, I like the kills. Even though we saw a lot of them in the trailer, there were scenes that we didn't see. There were kills in this that weren't shown, what we call off-screen kills. I don't mind those. I'm gonna get to a controversial kill people are gonna jump on, and that's the boy getting killed. I don't mind a kid getting killed off in a movie. It's fiction. Get over it. I'm speaking as a dad here. Look, horror is not the only genre that does this, and they're not really the first genre to do it either. Back in the '60s, westerns used to do it all the goddamn time, and they did it frequently. They would hang teenagers, shoot them, hang them, shoot them. You get where I'm going with this. I just feel horror gets the raw end of the deal of it. That's all. Um, I like Myers killing the kid. I like Myers killing the people in the houses, killing Allison's friend. And that's what I'll say. This was very random. Myers did not have a real set target. Not even Allison herself was a set target, and that's what I'll say. Um, and that's sort of, I'll get back to that too, but because I know I'm jumping around here a little bit. And what I'll say is that Dr. Sartain gets shot by the boy who gets killed by Michael. Um, and that to me comes into play later that I did not get, and I want to touch on in this especially. Um, Later on, Dr. Sartain does recover. By that time, we've met Hawkins, who you do feel has a connection to Laurie Strode. At first, I thought he might have had a relationship with Laurie Strode. Um, Before the documentary team gets killed, we hear Dr. Loomis, which I love this. This was my favorite part of the whole fucking movie, hearing Dr. Loomis saying he wanted to kill Michael Myers. I love that. That's my favorite part of this whole fucking movie. That recording of Loomis. Um, Not the kills. I like kills in movies, but I love story first. Story is first and foremost for me, and I love what they did with Loomis. Um, when we see Dr. Sartain, um, after this is obviously after a lot of people have been killed, mechanics, the documentary team has been killed, and also Michael kills without his mask in this. Now, that's something I loved about this as well. Michael kills without his mask, because there's always been this debate amongst fans. Is the reason Michael kills because of his mask? And no, that's not the case. That got answered in this, so I like them answering that in this. Um, Now, later on, we see Dr. Sartain is up and around, and he's interacting with Laurie, he's interacting with Hawkins, and Laurie says something, "You're the new Loomis." Let me say something. That's a throwaway line, because don't jump to that conclusion just because Laurie says it. Because he's not. He's not a Dr. Loomis. He's not Sam Loomis. There was only one Sam Loomis, and that was the guy we saw in 1978. Dr. Sartain is his own character, and I like the fact that he's his own character. So, Hawkins says something. I was liking Hawkins up until the moment he said what he said. I lost complete interest and called complete bullshit that Hawkins happened to be a first responder and stopped Dr. Loomis from killing Michael Myers. I just found it disbelievable. Sorry, I know a lot of people probably liked that part, but I hated it. I thought it was senseless, and it just fell flat for me. I'm just speaking for myself here. Later on we see a lot of people have been evacuated off the streets. That by this time there's been a lot of kills, and Allison's friend has been killed. Allison's family, her mom, her dad, are at Laurie's house by this point in time, and Dr. Sartain and Hawkins are looking for Myers. Allison is walking home from the dance, which gets evacuated. They send everybody home, and that's where I'd say the majority of the police are too, by the way. During the course of this movie, they're getting those kids home, and Allison and this boy are walking. I know I skipped some things, but really, to me, the whole her boyfriend and her fighting to me is fucking just irrelevant. I don't give a shit. They climb over this gate, sort of, or this wall, and they get in this yard, and the boy tries to kiss her, and she smacks him and knocks him down. and then she climbs over a gate. And now Michael Myers is in this yard, and there's motion lights, there's motion detectors, and they go on and off. And as they're going on and off, Myers is getting closer. And I think the boy realized he was in some sort of danger before Myers leaped at him, and he just misses him, and the boy takes off running, and he's screaming, "Help me, help me, help me!" And it's a tense moment, and Allison hears him, and she starts back, but by the time she gets there, the boy's stuck to the gate because he's dead. Myers has killed him. Myers peeks out from behind, and he's standing. The gate separates the two of them, so she does run from him. But to me, she's running from the fear of him. He's not really pursuing her, and he doesn't pursue her at all, really, in my mind. And I'm going to get back to that, because here's where this movie sort of takes a hokey turn. Dr. Sartain, again, I don't mind him being his own character. Some strange shit happens. Hawkins and Sartain find Allison at a house where she has met up with people she knows, obviously, and they're comforting her, and they're giving her water because she had this terrifying experience. She saw her friend murdered. Again, she ran from the fear of Myers. And they put her in the back of the Bronco type vehicle, and they're driving. And what I found interesting is Hawkins is asking Sartain, "Where do we find Myers?" And he's not really answering him. And they just happen upon Myers, and Hawkins, Allison taps, "There he is, there he is." So Hawkins runs him over, knocking him. Myers sort of attaches himself to the car. Hawkins hits the brakes, sends Myers flying. Sartain gets out of the vehicle. Hawkins gets out of the vehicle. Sartain gets down on the ground. And he says, "Move, Doc, move. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to shoot this motherfucker in the head." I don't mind Hawkins being killed off by Dr. Sartain. I don't mind the fact that, he's his own character, and he's trying to understand why Michael's killed. He wanted to feel what it felt like to kill somebody. I don't mind that at all. I mind the way they did this. Because to me, Sartain looks like he's protecting Michael, not necessarily killing. He's killing. It looks like he's killing Hawkins to protect Michael, not killing Hawkins just to kill him. I wish they would have did this differently. And I wish that Sartain wouldn't have put on the mask, because that looked hokey as shit. I hated how they did that. I don't hate what they did. I don't hate that they had him kill him. I hate how they did it. That's all. I just wish they would have did that differently, because the way they did that made me feel like it took away from the mystique of Michael Myers a little bit. Now here's the thing too. He actually drags Myers, is picking him up and dragging him. And here's the thing. He was shot earlier. How the hell was he dragging somebody's dead weight to the back of a Bronco and then putting him in the Bronco? I just did not find that part believable. That he lifted this guy's dead weight up, especially Myers, of all people. And they're driving. Sartain is driving to Laurie Strode's home, and Allison. I like what Allison does here. I love what they're trying to. I love this here. She's trying to deceive Sartain. So she says, "Michael said something to me. He said something to me. What was it? What was it?" And she said, "Stop this car and I'll say it. Stop the fucking car and I'll say it." I love this. I love this deception. And obviously we know he didn't, and he does stop the vehicle, and there's these two cops sitting at the end of Laurie Strode's driveway, up the road from Laurie Strode's home, and they see that it's Hawkins' Bronco, and they're like not sure what's going on, why he's, why they just think it's Hawkins, and Dr. Sartain turns and he says, "It was Judith Myers, wasn't it?" Now I'm gonna say something. I love the fact that they used Judith Myers' name to awake Michael. Now here's the thing. I don't like the fact that this is the only reference we get to Judith Myers. I wish we could have got something else. It does allow Allison to escape because Michael is killing Sartain outside of the Bronco. Now, to me, here's where we could have had the greatest chase sequence in Halloween history. Allison's running through the woods. I wish they would have had Michael pursue her. He does not. I do like the fact that they allow her to act on her own. I get that, what they're doing. They're building her up. I like that, but I feel you could have had Myers walking after her, and it would have been way more terrifying. And you could have had Ray maybe save her instead of dying a senseless death. That's just my view of it. And then there's the whole house sequence, which was cool. Overall, I give the movie a 7. It's pretty good. I liked it. I didn't love it. So that's my review of the 2018 Halloween movie. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.